Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. Collaboration, hopeful goodness, in the form of Trapp Brewing and Live Oak Brewing out of Texas. This is their Smoked Helles. It's a 4.7% alcohol by volume, Bamberg-style pale lager. Smoked pale lager. Do we get story time on here? We don't. Yeah, it's just Trapp Brewing, one of their, Stowe-style collabs. Live Oak, I've had a couple of their beers. I've reviewed one, which I believe was a lager, and I believe I enjoyed the crap out of it. But I've actually been, chomping at the bit to find this. I saw this kind of come up on social media, and I was like, okay, we dig on the smoked beers. And I got the Dunkelweizen from them in Trogs. That was a little bit different. Not a bad beer, but a little bit different. But I was really curious about this. I stopped at a couple different places that I thought might have this. Nixed, nothing. And then randomly popped in a place. Boom, there it was. Here we go. I said everything about the beer. Did we get the ABV on you? 4.7. We talked about this. This is canned on... Oh, it says Best Buy. We're doing Best Buys. 10/22... 24. And it says... oh, wait a minute. Best 10/22/24. Wait. Okay, there's a batch code on here. That's what was confusing me. So what do we take that as? We're in month 6 right now. 22, we're at... probably putting 6 to 7 months on this sucker. Anyway, here we go. Let's dive into it. So we can dig on some smoke beers. 4.7, we're not talking about the biggest beer in the history of mankind. So we'll see where this sucker lands on the, as we would say, the Schlenkerler scale of fattiness. And label-wise, they do their Stowe style. They do it. It's the same. Nothing really changes. Sans verbiage and clad and little bits and pieces. But I actually do dig it. It's very much theirs. So when I saw this on the shelf, there was no missing it. I was like, oh. And the weird thing was they actually had 4 packs, 3 high. And the top 2 were the Hefeweizen. And the bottom one was the smoke beer. So I'm glad I took a double take. I was like, oh, I've had that. Wait a minute. I'm like, let me look again. I was like, ooh. Here we are. Beer-wise, I mean, yeah, sure, fine. Looks like a Helles. Soft little haze to it, as you are known to get from smaller breweries, even though, Trapp is very known for their kind of clean, crisp lagers. Soft carbonation, really not much as far as any carbonation on this sucker. A little bit. I think there might be is there an agitator in this glass? Nah. It's soft little carbonation, not even like snow globy level, and just a pinky finger of a white, soapy-edged kind of head. Let's see if we can get a nose. Okay. Definitely a smoke beer. Definitely. And I think that's a without a doubt thing. Even if I were to drink this or huff this or whatever you want to call it, blind. Minimal smoke though. Really not a ton there. A little bit of sweet malts, maybe a little herbal kind of hoppiness if I'm really trying to reach for it. But the dominant thing here is the smoke, but it's very small. It's not a huge smoke. 4.7% Helles. We're not thinking of a huge beer to begin with. But it's probably about the same level of smokiness I would get from the Schlenkerler Helles. But doesn't use smoked malts. They say that comes from the natural kind of yeast over the years, kind of attributing that kind of smokiness in it. Whether that's true or not, it is what it is. But that's the level of smokiness you're getting here. Nothing too over the top, nothing too campfire, nothing too ultra baloney like fattiness. But it is that Schlenkerler style, small level, kind of super low ABV, kind of smokiness on top of that sweet malt. We're dones and duns. Let's dive in. Cheers, all. 100% follows through on the nose to the taste, minus a little bit of cool little malt action here I wasn't expecting. I think it's actually a combination of hops and malt, kind of fruity sweet action. But that smoke is small, nothing here hyper aggressive. Again, think Schlenkerler Helles. It just has that soft little, light little smokiness to it, little smoky kiss. In that a la Schlenkerler kind of fatty tradition, but nothing over the top. But it really is, for me, the malt base of this beer that really shines through. You get this little bit of sweetness. I liken it to honey. It's honey-esque. It's like a mead-esque kind of sweetness. It's definitely beer level stuff, but there's this little spin on the sweetness. You throw a touch, an absolute, and I'm talking the smallest dollop of a melon-like fruitiness on this, with that smoke, with that little bit of sweetness. It comes off almost desserty. I am not saying this beer is sweet, overly sweet, even close to the level like pastry sweet. But there is this kind of like uber uppity Michelin star restaurant kind of melon peach compote, smoked compote-y thing that is going through my head with this. Maybe I'm reaching at that. Maybe that's something that I'm just, but I don't really jump to those conclusions with these beers a lot, so I think it's definitely something that I'm perceiving there. That is cool. That is cool. I really do like this beer. It has a kind of a mouthfeel and a density to it that is north of what you get from a typical kind of lager, but not definitely hefty. So it's not ultra crispy boy Stannis, but it's definitely not a hefty beer, but it's such an imagination. There is a smoke component. It's a smoked beer. It's a smoked Helles. It's not ultra powerful. Again, it's a low ABV Helles. It's not supposed to be, but it's very light. So if you're looking for ultra smoke, you're probably not getting that here unless you're super sensitive to it. But it really is that combination of the hops and malt that really shine through for me. Again, soft, subtle sweetness outside of the norm. Soft, subtle fruitiness outside of the norm just makes this kind of gastro-molecular kind of smoked dessert. Not that I've eaten at a ton of those places, but I watch a ton of those shows. I know those flavor profiles just from kind of experimenting and trying different stuff. And it just has this coolness to it that I think is probably one of the more unique, let's put it that way, unique kind of flavor profiles that I've had from like any lager, but more, you know, if you want to pin it down to smoke beers, it's just a cool beer. It's a cool combo, and it's a fun combination. I'm glad I found it, to be honest with you, you know, because like I said, you know, the Trogs F mixture, it was fine, but it was just a little bit outside of the norm for me. I think it was just, they called it Hefeweizen or Weizenbach. I forget what it was. But it was just something different for me. I'd have to go back and watch the review to say specific. This is different, but very much a smoke Helles, but in a very cool, twisty kind of way. It kind of comes off as something unique for me. And I dig it. I like it. I think it's fun. Glad I got to find it, man. Really fun beer. Is this one of the better smoked beers I've had as of late? It got almost defaults to that because I've had a bunch, but it's probably not Mount Rushmore status because I've had enough to kind of keep it off there, but I dig it. Let's reverse that back a little bit. Go into, is this one of the more interesting beers I've had as of late? That, I think, it gets to Mount Rushmore status for me. This is this combination of the smoked Helles and the way the malt and the hops kind of play together. I really do dig it. Value and availability. Oh, man, I forget. I didn't even bother to look at a price point, but it's, you know, Von Trapp, even the Stowe style stuff tends to be reasonable. I want to say this is probably 16 or below. I got it off the shelf and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like interesting flavored beer, I think if you like smoked beer, you dig it. I think if you like Helles and lager, you dig it. But I just think there's a cool, inherent, kind of twisty combination on it that if you dig on interesting beer, you'll dig this. Let's leave it at that. Live Oak. Have you been to the brewery? I have not. Von Trapp. Have you been to the brewery? I have been a bunch of times. What do you think of their beers? Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer? I want to talk about that. Let's talk about it down there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of Stowe style right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers, y'all.